So, with Joker fully ado now setting a new record of the worst drop ever for a comic adaptation, and with over 80% of the audience being gone on, and will be relevant for different reasons we want to talk about here. How one Elseworld DC adaptation has not gone down so well for adapting source material, whereas the one I'm talking about today has done much better at it. Heck, and interestingly, with all the same subject matter, hence the warning. So let's talk about the Penguin episode 4, Cen'tanni. So let's begin. Directed by Helen Shaver, a name I'm not immediately familiar with, this episode details Sophia Falcone's decade-long incarceration at Arkham Hospital. She was going to testify against other members of her family, but to prevent the spur from singing, they caged her, so to speak, and the episode does not pull punches in not only depicting the character's mental illness, but also what can go wrong when not only is it not treated, but also actually made worse by abuse, both on a personal and systemic level, with her own father being complicit with Dr. Rush, played by Theo Rossi, and also being connected to actually the other deaths in the family. He basically she took the fall for the 7 people that died in that time frame, including one within the hospital walls. It definitely, even though she's put alone with someone who attacked her in the cafeteria previously with a fork, when she refuses to ice the other detainee that got her, Cen'tanni does it for her, jabbing the fork into her own neck, and even though there are some applications for her shock treatment that are ethical, it's only clear that this is not a version of what's being used for. And even though Freely Ado touched on this topic, I can definitely make the case that this event does a much better job with it, both in terms of tone, execution, and it definitely makes a compelling argument for her not only continuing this Elseworld, the Reeveverse, aka the Epic Crime Saga, but I also totally understand why Phoenix and Phillips move on to their projects, especially given the device reception and discourse from Freely Ado. I'm giving it that one a wide berth. I don't expect to do a spoiler review until 2025, the earliest, on that one. It's definitely a story that builds upon what was done in the Batman. Got glimpses of what the hospital was like when the Riddler was incarcerated in the movie, as well as them setting up Keoghan's variant of the Joker for the upcoming sequel in 2026. It was going to be next year before everything happened, but we got to see a much more detail in this episode. I mean, being fed a diet of medication and gruel. I mean, I can't even identify what they're being served there, but it certainly he looks awful. I mean, and routinely he being functionally no different than in a prison rather than a psychiatric hospital, which definitely is one clear case where the insane defense would not be get a free card at all. In fact, as I stated, even though Sophia was willing to testify in open court for the rest of the family's his crimes, names her father and the doctor specifically put her in there so the information wouldn't get out. However, it did not have the intended effect of breaking her as they intended. I mean, it has been said you cannot break what's already broken, and as she makes a toast to Cen'tanni, to new beginnings, slightly paraphrasing, I mean, let's just say that she definitely manages to get back at the West family her own way. Won't get into detail here, but it involves a gas mask, a weapon, and classical music. It is a sequence that is every bit as harrowing as what's in the hospital, albeit for a very different reason. I've mentioned this before, and I've just mentioned it again. One key reason why the characters have been able to transcend in 85 years of pop culture, both on screen and on the comics page, is due to how much they can be reinvented. I mean, especially where even though the initial pass at the other two spin-offs centered around this hospital and Gordon's investigations as well didn't get made, I'm open to the idea of being revisited in the future, say after part 2 of the Batman. And this year alone has also proven to be proved that they're quite fruitful. And I'm also even liking what they might be doing for The Brave and the Bold. I mean, even though they'll go either way about Muschietti keeping his job as director, they are planning on casting like a middle-aged variant for the DCU. So Ellen Richardson would likely fit the profile if they went with him, and both in age and physicality. I do intend to keep up with the rest of this event, and since we're now entering the second half of it, and I can already say it's one of his favorite shows of the year. Here, it definitely also shows another strong contrast where, as and how it's definitely a very interesting case study between this and the second Joker about how they give him up with the same prompt of make a villain-led story that does not necessarily directly adapt the comic lore, but puts its own spin on it, and get very widely varying results in terms of both quality and reception. And even though I was not planning on posting tomorrow, things have changed a bit, ever so slightly. I can definitely have the other video I wanted ready to go. It's already been in record and edit as I speak. But even though I was planning to post it Tuesday, I'm switching gears a bit because an event going on in one of my fandoms. You will definitely have to see what I think about it though. That'll be all for now, and see you all again soon. Take care, everyone.